Hello, and welcome back to Drunk and Disorderly, where I'm always doing something embarrassing right when we're going live.
It cracks me the fuck up, dude.
My name is Dre.
Hey, Dre.
Hey, Aaron.
I'm Aaron. I'm Libertarian Dead Mother. Welcome to Drunk and Disorderly, where we are already drunk and disorderly. It has been a long fucking day full of a lot of caffeine for me. So, this is what you get tonight. This is it, bitches.
It was like a chatty toddler a minute ago. She's like, and I had a red one, and I had a red one, and a green one, and a blue one, and then like, oh Jesus.
Look, I am like 7 Red Bulls into this show. So, it's going to take a whole lot of weed, but we will get there. Y'all are here to help us. I will get there.
It's all good. So you guys, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. As always, I did a lot of D&D work today, and I realized we've done so much work, and it's spread out everywhere. So I'm going to work on getting it all in one place for us. But we appreciate it.
Yes, plus candy.
We have, going back and looking and watching and seeing comments and stuff, it reminds me, and seeing the guests that we've had, we've been very, very lucky.
Right?
We started out so little, not knowing at all. We still kind of don't know what we're doing. We're learning as we go, but
we don't know squat.
Amazing fans. We have amazing guests, the people that have agreed to come on this show. Hi, John and Ryan. Yeah, John's been on here several times. We need to have him on. I love his rants.
Yes.
One of our shows was titled something like John Phillips Jr. goes off the rails or something.
I mean, there was something on.
And he had a lot to say about it, and it was great. So we're going to have to do that really soon after we get through.
Plans for guests, right?
We do. We are doing our Ladies of Liberty series right now. And our guest this evening is having some scheduling conflicts. So we're waiting until she can join us. Oh, she's here. Let's welcome lovely pink flame of liberty, Miss Caryn Harlos.
Well, hello. I was messing with my camera, so I'm glad you didn't notice I was here for a while. I'm not used to StreamYard.
Sorry about that.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, it doesn't let me use my normal equipment. It's weird. I have to do all kinds of workarounds to use it.
Me too. That's why you get this tonight.
I love your new background, Caryn.
Oh, thank you. That was made for me by the folks in Wisconsin.
That is cool. Good
job.
job.
All the concrete and the stenciling and stuff, you did all of that, right?
I did that. Yeah, the poster was from Wisconsin, but yeah, the other stuff is all me.
Yeah, I remember at the beginning when you were putting all that up and putting your studio together. That was so cool.
Yeah, we were checking it all out and watching it, and I remember us talking about if we were in the same place, we could do some kick-ass, badass studio, and that'd be great.
Yeah, it's a corner of my basement, but I've made it my own.
It's glorious. So, Caryn, I just watched earlier today your Tom Woods episode from February.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
That was a great episode. You guys were talking about, so that was, probably about halfway through the lockdown. You were talking about your frustrations with the LP National as far as messaging and, or lack thereof, actually.
Lack thereof.
Yeah, that's more appropriate.
I mean, I couldn't have been more upset about every single encroachment and more surprised at the lack of. So you guys are both on the LNC, so I'm going to let you guys talk about that.
Well, I mean, Dre, unfortunately, like, I call you to vet all the damn time, right? So you have to deal with all of this shit without being able to sit up there and try and deal with all this shit. And it's not just you, right? It's everybody. Everybody sees this. And some people have a different perspective on it, right? Some people are like, oh, no, our messaging's fine. Everybody sees messaging, though. And unfortunately, whether anybody likes it or not, from my experience, from my interaction, more people are angry about our lack of appropriate messaging than are excited about the phenomenal messaging that we have coming out, right? That was the whole push to bring on a communications director, a media coordinator, because somebody, right, needs to start kicking out some timely, honest, fair, true, radical, honest to our principles messaging. And when I say radical, I don't mean like radical caucus, guys. I mean, if you're watching this, libertarianism is a radical philosophy in and of itself.
The funny thing is before people get all butthurt about using the word radical, I would suggest that they go to our policy manual and look at the section entitled LP News, where it says the purpose of LP News is to present radical libertarian ideas in an everyday fashion. So even the National Party itself recognizes that to normies, our ideas are radical.
Because they are. I mean, that's just the reality.
Even moderates are radical to normies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like how dare you deviate, right? Stay in the current. Stay in the current.
Yes. And I apologize it completely slipped my mind. We had an appointment tonight because I just came from a job interview. So like, I'm really like focused on trying to find a job. So that's kind of been preoccupying me, and I never forget an interview appointment. So God, I'm so sorry.
It was cool. We actually, we grabbed a time killer, a space filler that you might actually be interested in. So I found an article that I shared on Facebook and pulled up for Dre. Man designed euthanasia coaster that you can only ride once.
I think I've seen that.
Right? And it goes into the science of it. And he won, it was awarded the Public Prize of New Technological Art of Update 2013. And has become a unique media phenomenon since it was unveiled in 2010. So it's been around for a little while, right? But the guy literally built a roller coaster that you can use to kill yourself.
Yeah, I remember reading about that.
What a great idea. What a way to go out.
And like there's a fail safe and shit, right? So you get up to the top of this, like, I don't know, something like they said it was taller than the tallest building in the United States or some shit. Some huge height, right? Because you got to fall from up there to make all the other shit just say, fuck this, right?
Yeah.
So you get up there and you still have to hit another button. And if you don't hit that other button, right? If you don't say, yeah, send me down, it rolls back down and anybody who wants to offload can offload. So it gives you a fail safe.
I'd be upset if I was one of the people that was really ready to go and somebody else hit the button.
Could you imagine, like,
if I got on that thing, I wouldn't want to finish. I'd just die of, extreme shock at the top probably. And I don't want to figure out how to get down. It just, those are my nightmares.
You got up there and like 5 people were like, oh no, I'm going to nope the fuck out. So they hit the button. Everybody scrolls down. And then you get up there again and one more dude's like, gotta go. Like,
this is nightmare fuel.
You could be there for days trying to die.
That's why I'd be like, just send me up by myself. I'm not hitting any buttons. That's it.
I just let you do it for extra money. Let me grab myself. Here's $1 million. Let me go. I mean, but what a way to go.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of roller coasters, so that would probably be like towards the bottom of the list of preferred.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to go out on the ground in a soft place. It's in our marriage contracts that if we, get to the point in life where we aren't where we want to end it, we'll go where we can to do that. But
yeah, man, I want to die in my sleep in my own bed at like 115.
Exactly.
Post orgasm, really high. That's how I want to go.
That is long life.
Maybe in restraints, because that would be badass. I mean, if you gotta go.
Yeah, I just would prefer not to be there.
I mean, hell, at 115, ain't nobody gonna want to be there. But it's not gonna be attractive. It's not. It's gonna be bad. So you guys want to talk about the controversy?
Yes.
Which one? Because there's usually an assortment.
So, like we heard today, Dre, controversy again from New Hampshire. There's controversy over a speaker. What else do we have? really weak messaging on fundamental issues.
Yeah.
Well, the New Hampshire thing and the speaker are the two, I think, biggest of the day, I suppose.
Probably the biggest of the day. And you know what? Like the New Hampshire thing, I'm not in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
I guess I don't feel like I get to have an opinion about what the members in New Hampshire choose to do within their state party.
Yeah, and I was blissfully unaware of it because, again, I don't stick my nose in other affiliates' business.
Not my thing.
But someone who shall remain unnamed, who is in New Hampshire, let's just say that. So it was their business, though sent me a DM on Twitter asking me to, like, I'm paraphrasing, that they're trying to get the person who runs their Twitter account removed from being able to run that account. And isn't this terrible what happened? And would I give consent to say that I'm on board with that? And I don't think they liked my answer. Because I gave the short answer first, no. Period. And then I gave the long answer, expressing disapproval of an affiliate's action to me is interfering in the autonomy of an affiliate.
Yep.
2, I don't disagree with the tweet you just showed me. 3, Gary Johnson is not a god. We're allowed to disagree with him. This isn't a fucking cult.
Yes.
And number 4, I think you're trying to weaponize the LNC, and I'm not having it.
Right. 100% all of that.
Good for you.
And then this person said, I'm not trying to weaponize the LNC. I'm just asking your opinion. I go, yeah. And I just conveniently happen to be an officer. I go, that's what I think. And he's like, but it's not. I go, well, you call it what you want to call it, and I'll call it what I want to call it. And then he said, if you call it what you want to call it, you're a liar and committing fraud and violating the NAP. And I said, goodbye, block.
I mean, look, if you want to send me an email that says, Aaron, oh my God, right? The New Hampshire state affiliate just voted to make stoning grandmas in the town square a membership requirement. Cool. I'm all about getting involved, right? At that point, absolutely, I've got some stuff to say. But we ain't there, folks.
Right. And
we weren't even close. So...
Well, there was actually a little more in the conversation that I actually forgot right now what made it worse, which was basically, yeah, but Gary Johnson was insulted. I said, oh, no, someone was insulted. And then when he called me a liar before I said goodbye, I said, oh, no, you just insulted a person on Twitter. Goodbye.
Right. I mean, like,
oh, my God.
I'm like, you're allowed to insult Gary Johnson. I'm sorry. I've got a lot of things I can insult Gary Johnson about. Well, he begged us to take lying ass Bill Weld. He wanted us to bake Nazi cakes. Listen, he's a moderate libertarian, and that's fine. And I'm not a moderate libertarian, so I'm perfectly willing to say that I think he is semi-libertarian at best on some issues. And the issue that he decided he didn't need to respond to that New Hampshire tweet. His ass isn't in New Hampshire. He stuck his nose into it. If you can't handle the heat, don't step in the kitchen.
Well, I'll tell you something else. Look, Gary Johnson ran for president not once, but twice. I worked those campaigns. Let me assure you, Gary he's a grown-up, and he's got broad shoulders, and he's been insulted a whole lot of fucking times. And Gary is not a dude to take an insult to heart. He just isn't.
And it wasn't an insult. What, saying he's wrong?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
He's really been insulted. Like, really been insulted. A lot.
Oh, I've seen super insulting, like, press treatments of him. He's a big boy. He doesn't need, some party members to white knight for him. And the fact is, on this issue, he's wrong. I don't, and what I liked about this controversy has nothing to do with New Hampshire, because the New Hampshire tweets in my rear view because it's not my business.
Right.
But what I'm taking it as an opportunity of is educating people who are apparently ignorant that it's been the party's historic position for years to abolish child labor laws. And as I said in Twitter, it's not my problem if that embarrasses you. That's your problem. And you're perfectly free to be embarrassed by it. You don't have to agree with everything, but don't lose your shit as if that's some news to you. It's not my fault if you didn't investigate the party you joined. That's been our position.
There's a platform. Lpedia is full of good stuff. If you haven't gone to the Lpedia, you should go to the Lpedia. Please, please, please learn the party history. It's super important. It will save you a lot of headache.
Even Cato argued against child labor laws. It's not, to me, it's not that controversial. Of course, people want to take it to the extreme and say, oh, what do you want, child minors? And okay, be an idiot if you want to. That's like me saying, oh, you like the state, do you want to, socialize sex? It's just stupid. I'm not even dealing with crap like that.
Because you can't say, as a libertarian, as a principled libertarian, that we should abolish child labor laws and still protect the most vulnerable among us. Because clearly, certainly, there is never more than one way to accomplish a goal.
Right. You don't. And here's the thing. What is it that people fear with child labor? They fear the abuse and exploitation of children. We already have laws against the abuse and exploitation of children. You don't need a specific law against a specific thing. It's just like when people freak out when I say I'm against drunk driving laws, because we already have reckless driving laws. You don't need a special category.
Right. Right.
So if the child is being exploited and abused, we already have laws for that. But the fact is, until very recently, that's a part of the growing up process. I worked in my dad's pizza place.
Well, let me tell you too, in rural communities in the South, this is going to shock a lot of people, especially people in like New York and Pennsylvania. You can work a family farm at 10, 11, and 12. You can drive a truck or a tractor at 14. If it's for the farm, sure can. If it's a family business, this is already happening. And if you really want to protect child workers, you need to start looking at some of the federal laws that allow corporations and businesses to pay individuals who are 16 and under, students, less than minimum wage. In some cases, even college students, federally less than minimum wage anyway. So, I mean, you're cool with the government exploiting these children who are working. You're just not cool with the children choosing for themselves if they just want to go get a job, whether they're 12 or 16, right? That's the concern. Come on.
Yeah, and it's been I've just taken it as an educational, opportunity to inform people, disagree with it all you want, but don't act like this is some kind of shocking revelation. This has been our position. And if you don't like it, and a lot of people don't like when I say this, because some people think we need to grow the party at all costs, even if it means pretending like we don't believe what we actually believe. I want to grow the party with people who are comfortable with what we believe, or comfortable to accept the things they don't agree with, just as, hey, that's the little bit I don't agree with. But I'm not going to compromise with the party beliefs for the sake of numbers, because what's that? If it's all about numbers, then why don't we just nominate Trump and we'll have millions and millions of voters next time? If what we believe doesn't matter.
Well, let me tell you why doing that, why soft selling, why not being 100% transparent is a violation of your membership oath. Let me tell you why that is a net violation. Because as a libertarian, I don't believe in force, fraud, or coercion. Right. And what you're saying to me when you say we need to grow the party at all costs is that we need to grow the party by defrauding people.
Well, and I'll give you the more technical legal term. It's fraudulent inducement. It's, getting somebody.
It's fraud and coercion.
Yeah. To get someone to enter into a relationship by not giving them the entire details of it is a tort called fraudulent inducement. And if it was in a contract, you could get out of that contract and get punitive damages in some cases.
And you know what? We see this happen. We've had how many retread candidates now? A bunch of retread candidates, right? So the retread candidate comes in and our numbers go up. Oh man, they skyrocket. It's great. People are really excited. They show up for the convention. Membership numbers are at all-time high. This candidate is the best thing since pussy. We got to celebrate him, right? and then the election's over.
You make me laugh so hard. I'm sorry.
I mean, like, then the election's over, and what happens, Caryn? You've seen it. I've seen it. We've been around a long time. What happens? Those people flood. They leave.
Or they cause all kinds of shit in local affiliates, thinking they know better.
Yeah, and then they leave.
And then they leave and leave the affiliate in shambles.
Ugh, just what we need. That's why I love this party so much, is because our principles are what they are, and I have no problem standing behind them. And I'm
Look,
so
nobody's gonna buy Diet Democrat and Diet Republican.
Why would they?
Democrat and Republican are available, all fucking ready, and all but guaranteed to win.
Right.
Exactly.
There's an article that I always recommend and he gets so embarrassed when I recommend it, but obviously he wrote it to be read. But there's an article that I'd ask people to Google by Mark Montoni entitled Why Hold Back If You're Not Going to Win? And it's like, why? If somebody wants to water down shit and pander, there's already two old parties that are light years better at it than we are. And they're going to win. So why even do that? It's like, listen, it's like deciding you're going to be a whore and then like not charging. It's like, if you're going to whore, be the best whore you can. And that's in a bad way. That's a respectable profession. But I'm just saying, if you're going to sell it, get top dollar, baby.
Right. Know your fucking worth, people.
We do say that a lot. Know your worth.
I mean,
listen,
we're consistent if nothing else.
I wish I had the position on sex work when I was younger and like had marketable wares that I do now, because man, let me tell you, I would have spent my 20s being a stripper and making some bank.
Look, I got to tell you, there is a.
But instead, I was a fundamentalist Christian, wasting my moneymaker years.
There is a Pornhub category for everything, sister, for everything.
But I'm telling you, I'd have been working that pole, but I don't give a shit, and I'd have been making the bank.
I've heard it's a hell of a workout. You'd have abs of steel. You'd be nice.
You know what? Maybe that's the contest we could start. The Libertarian Party Get Fit on the Stripper Pole contest.
Good. Listen, and now that I'm older and not a fundamentalist Christian, there's nothing I enjoy more than going to stripper bars. I love it. I love it more than most men.
Look, those poles, that is a legit exercise class that we're seeing pop up everywhere as pole dancing.
No, those girls work for their money. I enjoy it.
It's a hell of a workout. And anybody who thinks that dancers, that performers are just up there because they don't have any skills or what the fuck ever, I want to see your ass do that shit.
Yeah.
That is like Olympic athlete shit, especially good performers. So give them some.
Not all strip clubs are created equal. Let's just get that out.
No, I'm talking about, I don't think I've been to any like shady ones. I've been to the good ones, and they're very, very good.
Right. People who are successful in that field train. They work at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We have questionable ones in Omaha, and we've put on.
I'm sure we have questionable ones here. I just haven't been to them
everywhere.
They're the only ones that'll let us come on in and put on a comedy show.
Look, it's just like any other profession. Though there are questionable doctors, there are questionable dentists, there are questionable. Right, there are people who suck at their jobs in every.
It's not questionable. It's just not as athletic and not a great performance like you'd see in the upper class ones. I'm guessing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Women that really put their
that really work at this.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So anyway, but
it would be a great workout.
So we oftentimes.
Why do I think somehow Carol Moore is going to be clipping some things here about me working the pole?
Oh my God!
Oh God!
Who I care? No.
Oh, you don't know, Trey?
Is she a shit stirrer that I don't know about?
She's a stalker. She is very offended by Caryn Ann's breasts.
Oh, is that?
She said
I remember that. That was a while ago. You blocked her a while ago, right?
Oh no, she's been doing this for years.
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
She's dedicated. I'll give her that. She's now said that she's going to get a lawyer to send me a cease and desist to stop complaining about her sexual harassment.
Good luck with that one, lady.
Yeah, because she claims I'm being biphobic. Like, Chickadee, I hope you realize that, like, I like girls too, so fuck off.
just not you.
Yeah, just and at the time when because she wants to deny that she propositioned me, I never claimed her proposition was unwanted or unwelcome or how do you put it, abusive.
Appropriate, yeah.
No, we were friends at the time. It didn't bother me. That's never been what I complained about. I just mentioned that it happened because it did. And I told her I'm very flattered, but my husband and I don't have that kind of relationship. That's all I said. And it happened. Big fucking deal. I never said that was the abusive part. How do you know if somebody's interested if you don't ask them?
Right.
I don't care that she like was flirting with me. I don't care. What made it creepy is how nasty she got afterwards. It's like when a guy asks you out
and you turn him
decline,
down,
and then all of a sudden he turns into a stalker. It adds a weird element to it. It wasn't the original proposition that's the problem.
Right.
I don't care. I've been propositioned by a lot of women, and it's flattering because women are pickier than men.
Damn,
I don't care. Proposition me all day, ladies. It doesn't bother me.
I will tell you too. I think in a lot of ways, I'm a lot pickier about women.
See, a lot of people don't know this. I'm going to tell you something you might not even know, Aaron. I used to be in a thrash metal band in my wild and in dissolute youth, and the most common propositions I would get would be the woman from a couple approaching.
Yeah, it's a unicorn hunter couple.
Yeah, back then I don't know if that's what and it was. I don't know if they weren't looking for anything long term. It was like a one night thing. But I had a boyfriend, and at that time, because just issues, I wasn't ready to recognize that I was attracted to women as well. But I always found it flattering. I never found it insulting, but I never even considered it, which now I wish I did. But yeah, that would happen all the time. Like, that was so common. It never offended me, ever.
That's a pretty common coming out thing too, that you're just not, for a myriad of reasons, and they usually vary person to person, right? You're just not ready.
Well, I always had a boyfriend, so it wasn't like I was looking. And then the Christian thing. But the funny thing is, I used to joke and say, if I were ever single, I could see me being just as likely as ending up with a woman as a man if I found the right woman. But it was all joke type thing.
Yeah, I've never been offended if somebody has shown interest in me, as long as they're not rude about it. Like, it's flattering, no matter who, especially if it's a woman, because I'm sorry, I'm way more self-conscious in the locker room than I am in a swimsuit in front of a bunch of guys. You know what I mean? Because I know how women think, And
my best friend in high school was a lesbian, so I've always been comfortable around gay women. So, like,
I think the whole, all of the bullshit that gets thrown at you when you come out and say you're bi, right? Well, aren't you really pan? No, fucker, I'm not. Stop erasing me. No, I'm not pan.
I don't even know, to be honest with you. I don't, I know the difference intellectually, but I'm past the point where I even care about labels. I like people. And, if you're attractive, you're attractive. And if I were single, I'd consider you.
I get sick of the constant denial that you exist.
Yeah, it's just.
Or you're greedy. Bi people are just greedy.
Oh, no, I don't care if people think I'm greedy. I'll be greedy.
Or what do? Get up in the morning and flip a coin?
Well, I'm married now, so that I've picked a team.
But you're married. Doesn't that mean you're straight now? I mean, this is all the shit, right? This is the shit that you get.
Yeah.
No, people, none of that shit is true. None of that shit is true. No, I don't go walking down the street, right, in my pretty dress after leaving a date, and I see a hot woman coming toward me, so I duck behind the nearest bush and Superman change into my jeans and my plaid, rolling out on the other side with the
and Birkenstocks.
It does not work that way.
You guys, I'm going through my head trying to find a question I would ask a bi person that just told me, and I can't. You know what I mean? There's nothing I'm like, well, what about, I can't find a question. I get it. I don't know.
Would you
I
ask
understand
somebody
how
who
other
just
people
said
don't
I'm
care.
gay? Would you ask them that? Would you,
Right.
give me a fucking break. If somebody came up to you and said, "Oh, I just figured it out. I'm straight." Anything you would not say to them, you don't say to somebody who says to you, "I'm bi, I'm trans, I'm gay, I'm queer."
Yeah, I like
Say it
them
to somebody who
so
says,
like,
"By the way, I'm straight." Don't.
but I just thought it was hilarious that I heard the latest thing is that I'm allegedly now biphobic. I'm like, that's great.
hilarious.
That's great
Wow.
coming from a TERF. Thank you very much.
Ooh. Ouch. Ouch. Welcome to Pride Week, bitches.
You didn't know that?
The Pride
She's a
is coming
TERF.
up.
She's an absolute TERF.
I didn't know.
And all those people on her side over the abortion thing, and then they have all their little hissy fits about Mises or this or that. Call out the TERF in your midst, and then I'll talk to you.
Right. And yeah.
And then she goes, "Oh, but TERF just means, what is it? Terrific, extraordinary, radical female." Okay.
Oh, okay. That's a new one. I mean, it's a good acronym. It's a solid acronym. It's new to me.
So yeah, really, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely
send a
not.
lawyer. Go ahead, send a lawyer to say that I'm falsely accusing you of that was never the complaint, lady.
Nope.
It's the stalking. It's the actual
Yeah.
criminal behavior. I cannot wait to hear how this shakes out later.
I'm sure this is going to be all over. She's going to be very upset about the TERF. Everyone knows it because she says TERF is words of violence or something now.
Oh my God.
Words are not violence. Violence is violence.
I know. Whatever. You know, I might be pro-life, but I'm not a TERF.
Well, this is not any different than the bitch lasagna guys. I mean, it's not.
Fill me in, bitch lasagna?
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta play that video.
You gotta play the video. Yeah. You gotta look up the video. I'll send you the video. But yeah, it's not any different, right? This is the show me your bobs and vagine.
Yeah.
Fuck you, bitch. That's what it is.
Hello, bitch lasagna.
Yeah, that's what it is. This is the bitch lasagna shit. And she doesn't see it because what it is.
That would be a great name for a band.
That would be a good name for a band.
I love it.
Yeah, she's starting up shit with me again because I was appointed interim platform committee chair. I want to tell my haters something here now. The people who don't like my ideology, are you dumb? Because anyone will tell you when I chair a committee, even though you're allowed to fully participate and debate and stuff as committee chairs, I don't. When I'm committee chair, I stay out of it with narrow exceptions that I announce right up front. And I would tell you, and I more than willing to share to you guys what it is. So if you're worried and that I'm going to attack the abortion plank, what you want me to be is committee chair. Because I won't be involved in it. Even though my position, I've said it over and over, but they would rather believe I'm lying, that the platform committee should leave the abortion plank the hell alone. It's a Molotov cocktail. It's going to go off in your face. The delegates have the power to delete it themselves if they want to through the token system. Leave it alone. That's been my position since 2016. People don't believe me. Fine. What else? But like some of the people who are like worried about my more radical positions, and then they're like, she can't be committee chair. Okay, be careful what you wish for, honey, because if I'm not elected permanent committee chair, my ass is, you haven't seen me like when I'm on a committee advocating for shit. Because each time I've been on the platform committee, I've been committee chair and I'm hands off. I'm much like Nick was, not in the bad part of Nick, but the way he chaired, he really, before the $75 an hour thing, stayed out of shit.
Really?
I will debate and discuss, but I don't vote. As a committee chair, I don't vote. I don't think that it's appropriate for a committee chair to vote unless it's a case of a tie, and I won't do it.
Yeah.
And like the COC, Caryn, you've been on some of our calls. I am very clear that, look, here's how I see this, good or bad or both sometimes, but this decision belongs to this committee.
Yeah.
You guys have to
and you're dealing with a much smaller committee. You got to understand that the platform committee is 20 people.
Right.
plus alternates. They don't need me to say
Yeah,
much.
if the committee was that big, no, I wouldn't debate
Yeah,
with it.
I'm just there to
I chair
get
from the bottom.
done.
I do a lot of things from the bottom.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, and with a large committee, you're there to figure out what they want to do and help them get it done.
Yeah, you're a facilitator. And I think people miss that when we start talking about chairs. That's not just committee chairs, right? That's county precinct chairs, that's regional chairs, it's state chairs, it's national party chairs. Your job is to take direction from that body, right? You take your direction from them, you facilitate those things. Now, look, if there's something you feel is going to be a detriment to an organization, yes, as that chair, you have to say, listen, I hear what you're saying, but if we do this, we're all going to jail, right? Sometimes there's shit like that you have to do.
Yeah.
But your job is to say, these are the tasks that need to be accomplished, right? And get that feedback or however you're going to do it and make sure that those tasks get accomplished.
The most I interfere is when I see a committee member that's starting to alienate everybody and they don't see it. I'll take them aside and say, you can do all of this, but I'm just letting you know from my experience, you're not reading the room, and you're going to have people who's going to start voting against you in spite because you're annoying the fuck out of them.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, so if we did that, that would be a contract violation. Or, yeah, that's cool, but the bylaws don't allow it.
Yeah.
Right? It's that kind of stuff. That's what you have to do. But your job is not to grandstand or any of that. That's not your job as a chair. And a lot of people, I think, put pressure on chairs, particularly state chairs and national chairs, right? They expect them to do all kinds of stuff that they really shouldn't have to even worry about. The expectation is unreasonable.
So yeah, we shall see. Either way, on the platform committee, it's a win-win. I like chairing. I like doing the R1R thing. I like facilitating. But I also like debating and arguing for my position. So no matter what happens with permanent chair, I'm going to be happy.
So I know the new R01R came out, right?
Yes.
The newest edition. If there was one thing in there, or one change in there that you thought everybody needed to know about, what is it?
There's hardly any changes in it. The most significant changes in format, it's easier to cite now. It's chapter and verse, kind of like the Bible. It's not like a depot transcript where you'd have to say page, whatever, lines, whatever. It's not like, it's now just chapter and paragraph. It's easier to cite. There's very, very few changes.
So anybody who struggled with Roberts in the past, get the new edition.
Yeah, it's much easier to cite. And you don't want to know what? Most people do not need to read the full Roberts. Roberts in brief, which you can read in a night, is all the average person needs.
And is that, can people get that on Amazon?
But get the official one, not the for dummies, not all the ones by the authors of the actual book. It's Robert's excellent. It's called Robert's Rules in Brief. Yeah. Okay. It's, I think, 150 pages, but like super easy reading. That's even the most that most county chairs need. A state chair, I think they probably need the full version. But most county chairs, most average board members, all they need is in brief. And that's why I do the Cult of R1R show, to demystify it.
Oh, if our producer could please put up Caryn Ann's links to her YouTube page and Facebook, that'd be great. And then I noticed that you post sometimes, Caryn Ann, about your ketamine treatments that you received from a doctor. I was wondering if you would mind telling us about that, like why you get those, how that goes. I'm so curious about this.
Sure. I was having like stubborn, like, even though I was on antidepressant medication, it like wasn't fully like taking care of business. And Avens O'Brien actually mentioned it to me, and as a treatment that had been having a lot of good results. And she had told me about a friend that she had. Now I wasn't in this kind of shape, but the friend that she had was just ready to just kill themselves. And she convinced them, try this, just try this. And it works like, unlike like antidepressants take like 6 weeks to build up in your system.
Yep.
You see if ketamine's going to work for you, you feel better immediately. He walked out of his ketamine treatment no longer wanting to commit suicide. Like it was like that. So for the, I'm trying to think of the right word. Resistant isn't the right word, but you kind of get what I want. Lingering depression, I was willing to try that, and it is absolutely remarkable. And right now, I just do that. I don't do even the antidepressant medications anymore because the side effects were just no bueno. So now every 3 months, I just go in for ketamine treatment, and it resets your brain.
So how long is a treatment for when you go in?
I believe, I'm trying to think of, because you're there and like you got to do, they ask you a bunch of questions and stuff. You're there for about an hour and a half, and I would say 45 minutes to maybe 55 minutes is the actual ketamine experience, and it's intravenous.
Intravenous. So when they start the IV drip or whatever, how do you feel? Like, what's your experience like?
Have you ever done any hallucinogenics?
Yes.
So that's, except for you, what's great about it, because listen, any drug, I'll say this, because I used to be in a band, okay? Any drug that didn't involve a needle, I've done. And the only reason I probably didn't do any of the needle ones is because I probably thought I was just too incompetent. I've got little tiny veins, freaking professional, what are they, phlebotomists? I just call them vampires, can't find my veins. So I'm not going to be sitting there trying to find a vein to stick, But other than that, I've done it. The newer ones that I never heard of, like ecstasy wasn't around, when I was in a band. But anything that was around back then, okay. So, but this was an entirely different, because you're like in an entirely safe space. So you're there in a nice room, in a comfy chair. You bring a blanket and a pillow. You could listen to music. You could watch the TV, or you could bring someone to talk to. I'm not into the talking thing. I'm into just closing my eyes, listening to music. I pull covers over my head, and you just like listen to music and lose yourself in the experience. And it's the best shit because it's a medical grade fucking ketamine. There's nothing, it's safe. So you also have that, no weird worries like, holy shit, where did this come from? Right. Is it cat piss on a blotter? So yeah, it's wonderful. And they give you anti-nausea medication in the drip with it, so you don't have any of that unpleasantness. Because I get nauseous really, really easy.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's one thing I did not like about the hallucinogenics. You're typically going to throw up.
Yeah. And so
I hate doing it. So
yeah, they put it right in the drip. There's no nauseousness. They let you hang out as long as you need to, get steady again. And it's and I really can't praise it enough. And they gradually increase the dose to where it's right for you to get the good reset. Basically.
So during each session, or as you come back?
As you come back, they'll ask you how last session was, and that generally for your body weight, blah, 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 they like to get you up to here. Are you comfortable with that type of thing? And they'll also ask you, do you like it to come on slower or quicker? Like everything is customized to what you're more comfortable with, and no judgment. Like sometimes you go to a doctor, even when you're trying to get pain medication, they make you feel like you're a junkie. Like It's nothing like that. These are, mental health professionals that realize that this works. There's also ketamine guided therapy, which for people who are really having like serious trauma that they need to talk through, where they put you on low doses and you actually work with a therapist. Now, I haven't had to do that because mine's just depression. I've went through a lot of shitty shit in my life, but not like I haven't been, some people have gone through some shit.
Right.
It's nothing like that. But they have that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And, when I was younger, I went through the whole, let's try this antidepressant, let's try this one. And it's 6 months or whatever of each drug. And you turn out to be a guinea pig. And at the end, I was like, I don't know what's working anymore. Like, I'm not a good judge of this. So,
Well, I'm like one of those old ladies that is like now brutally honest. Like I have no filter and like I'm not embarrassed by anything. So I stopped the antidepressants because it kills your sex drive. You have like zero sex drive. And I was like, that's unacceptable. My husband is a saint because for like a really long time, like he wasn't about to, he wants me to be enjoying it as well. So he was a saint. And I'm like, that isn't what people get married for, to have a sexless marriage. So now that this is working, because obviously he don't want me to sacrifice my mental health. So this is working to get off the antidepressants so I can feel like a normal person again. And they say that doesn't do it to some people. I haven't known a single person that hasn't done it to. And that's why so many men refuse to take it. Because a woman, let's face it, you don't have to, you could just lay there to make somebody else happy. But a man, you gotta, your parts have to
work. Yeah. They have to really be involved.
Right. And that doesn't work anymore with antidepressants. And that's why a lot of men, and I'm convinced that's why sometimes the suicide rate is higher with men, because the antidepressants, okay, great, you're feeling better. And then all of a sudden you feel like shit again because you'll lose your marriage. You don't feel like a man anymore.
I think men deal with a lot of shit, mental health wise, as it is a society. We certainly don't want to.
Yeah. And but they don't talk about it. How many men are going to walk around going, yeah, I'm taking these pills and my dick don't work? They're not going to do that. That's embarrassing.
Well, and even seeking mental health care to begin with, right? Men aren't supposed to be all of these things that men aren't supposed to be. So you're not supposed to cry. Yeah. You're not supposed to whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of judgment that we put on men in our society that I think people want to overlook. It's really easy to beat somebody up, and it feels like men are more often than not the target of all kinds of bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's funny, is I have very well-meaning people on Facebook, like when I'm saying, oh, I'm trying to save up for my ketamine treatment, like, oh, well, you could just go buy that in the street. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that. And it's not the same thing as being in the clinical setting. It's the whole thing, I think, that makes it work.
Right.
But it's expensive because insurance doesn't cover it.
So if somebody, who is a good candidate for this treatment, and how do they go about finding the right doctor to administer it?
From what I understand, I'm nowhere near an expert, so I would encourage people to look. There's a lot of YouTube videos on it to determine. From what I understand, it's people for whom antidepressants are not working to alleviate all of the very distressing symptoms.
Okay.
And people, particularly people where the medicines like aren't working at all to help suicidal tendencies. Now, it doesn't work for everybody, though. It's like marijuana. Marijuana does nothing for me for pain, for anything. But for some people, marijuana is a miracle drug. It's the same thing with ketamine. It doesn't work for everybody. So, but it worked for me.
I'm so glad. So what kind of doctor, how does somebody go about finding a doctor that will administer this?
You don't need a prescription or anything. Because it's not covered by insurance. You go in for a consultation and they determine if you're a good candidate. So if you just look up ketamine treatment for depression on the internet, you'll find a place near you. There's also ones, though, that do like nasal sprays. Don't bother. All the research indicates that don't work. I don't know yet about, there's a new one out now that's kind of like an intramuscular injection. Those are cheaper, but I don't know if they work as well as the intravenous. I'm probably going to go try that now that I have something to compare, because I'd rather save money if I can. But the nasal ones, don't bother. And they are just as expensive. You're not even saving money.
So what's the price range of your intravenous treatments?
Okay, it can vary wildly. When I first started going, I found kind of the innovators in this whole field was Dr. Sarah Markey, and she happened to be in Denver and did a lot of work with vets. So tried to make it as inexpensive as possible. And that was $350 a treatment. Then I don't know what happened. They moved, but now she's back. So when that clinic closed down, then the cheapest one I could find was $500 a treatment.
Oh, wow.
But if you were in Boulder, Colorado, it's like $800. So it varies. So it pays to shop around.
Gotcha.
But yeah, right now I'm paying $500 every 3 months.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, but it's worth it.
But yeah, you really cannot put a price on your mental health. Like that and your physical health. Like, I don't know if there's a dollar amount, honestly. If it works I'm so glad it works for you. I hope that other people look into it, because what a great drug, really. I mean, you only have to do it once every 3 months. That's awesome. And
now, in the beginning, though, to fair warning to anyone who's looking into it, in the beginning, it's more because I'm assuming all clinics are this way, because everyone I've looked into has been. In the beginning, you have to do a series of them, like crap. In the beginning, I can't. It's because I've been doing this a while now. I think in the beginning, I had to go like twice a week for a few weeks. So like to get started, it was a couple $1,000s.
Oh, wow.
To get the initial. Once you've got it like a baseline, then it's maintenance.
I wonder if you could use something like care credit for this, though, right? Like it's a medical credit.
Some of them I'm sure take care credit. Mine didn't. I don't know, but they had some other financing company, but my credit's so shitty right now that I couldn't get it. But the place I go to now, which is all over the country, I don't mind even saying the name, it's Ketamine Wellness Centers. They do have some kind of financing. I just didn't qualify because I have really bad credit right now.
So when you were going for at the beginning a couple times a week, was that them trying to figure out your dosing? Were they giving you like?
Yeah, and for some reason, I think you got to like shock your brain.
I can see that.
So you go for like a bunch of times for a few weeks, then it goes to every month, and then you can go to every 3 months, which is what I'm on now. Every 3 months is considered the maintenance.
That is,
and it can be 3 to 6 months. I've gone 6 months before because I didn't have the money, but the best is every 3 months.
That's pretty cool.
So informative. I love getting like this information from somebody who has actually done it, because you hear bits and pieces around on the internet, I'm sure, which is half true.
Yeah.
So it's very cool to hear the actual experience,
it's been super beneficial. And then, I'm also very open because I have spinal stenosis as well. So I have a lot of pain issues, and Kratom is my miracle drug for pain. And I can't believe how many people don't know about Kratom. That's like absolutely insane to me how many people don't know about that, because but for that, I think I'd be buying street drugs, because you can't get pain management anymore from your doctor. I used to have a back doctor. I had consistent pain management, never got addicted. I was on daily doses of Vicodin when I had flare-ups, which could last for years. When they were done, I was done. I would go off it for a few years, like had no problems. The demonization of opioids pisses me off so fucking bad. I can't even tell you. And when you hear like someone like Kara Schultz, who talks about these cancer patients who have intractable pain that are collecting suicide kits for the day that they can't get their pain medication.
Look, for some people, opioids are truly a lifesaver.
Yeah.
Is there an opioid crisis in this country? Absolutely. That does not diminish the value of opioids in pain management. It doesn't. What it does is says we have a crisis. So you fix the problem. You don't eliminate the only source of healing and health and mental stability for patients who are in excruciating pain, for whom nothing else works. And that is just the reality.
And this won't surprise you as libertarians, but I have become extremely skeptical of whether we in fact have an opioid crisis to the extent that they're saying. There's a book I just read from somebody who works in the field. I recommend everyone read it. It's called Drug Use for Grown-Ups, and it's from a drug researcher who, does worked for the government, like administering pot to people to see what the reactions were and whatever. And it can be a shocking book to some people because he admits to being a regular heroin user that lives a productive life, has never missed any of his responsibilities, has not addicted. And he thinks that is the normative experience. And this is his field. And It is an eye-opener, this book. I highly, highly recommend it.
I will tell you, too, Dr. Howard Wetzman claims to have, with a group of other addiction specialists, physicians, found a cure for addiction that was apparently purchased by one of the big pharma companies and shelved. So this stuff exists. You can't believe everything that the government is telling you. If you're watching us, you already know that shit. So we are, Dre, we're at 9:13. Caryn Ann's link has been showing at the bottom of the screen. Guys, bear with us as we pull stuff together. The new YouTube link is coming. We have it, don't we, Dre? Dre, we have it.
We do. I'm still trying to get everything else set up so that it can all like kind of launch at the same time. So,
you guys just be watching for it. And here's the thing: when it first comes out, it's gonna look kind of wonky. YouTube has some hoops they need you to jump through. We would like it to not look wonky, and we're gonna need your help for that. So tell your friends, like, click, and share. Spread the word.
Yes. And as always, if you have a guest suggestion, if you'd like to be on our show, let us know. Right now we're doing Lovely Ladies of Liberty. Next, we will move on to everybody, and it will be free range season. But for now, we're going to do some more Ladies of Liberty because it has been a fantastic run so far.
It's been great.
It really has. Caryn Ann, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of your information. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. It was a pleasure to meet you a couple years ago at Unconvention, and I'm so glad that we have stayed connected.
And yeah, I'm sorry for being late. That's so not like me with this.
No worries. Good luck on your job hunt. Really.
Yes. Thank you. Totally appreciate that. I need it.
All right, guys. See you next week. Week after next, we have Fo Chan, the philosopher.
All right. Have an awesome night, everyone.
Good night.